Here we go. Good morning, or should I say good afternoon, Randi. Matushevitz. Welcome to Sanctuary. I would ask you how you're doing today, but with the world being as crazy as it is, it might be very hard for you to answer. So we will first talk a little bit about how you feel in this sanctuary space. I've had lots of different responses, and I'm interested as kind of a research of, what it's like for folks. So just
there's a couple of things happening simultaneously sitting here. One is I feel, a little cocooned and cave-like, and at the same time the shape makes me feel more like religious connotations,
right.
with the upward swing
Right.
of it. But there's also the blackness and the darkness of it. As people did walk by, we saw some people walking by. It's almost, I feel, hidden. And so this is not hidden and invisible, just kind of like tucked away, which is so I can observe others and not be seen and yet be seen. So there's kind of that. So I'm not sure if I associate sanctuary with it yet,
Right.
but I do feel that I am, it feels warm in here. I don't mean temperature hot, but there's a warmth to this, the depth of it, and that there's enough room for all of me. If I wasn't in a chair, I could actually sit and actually do some movement in here, and even if I stood. So
Yes.
it feels interesting in that.
You could stand up. It's interesting, the kind of interface between public and private, I think, because it's open,
Yes.
and yet in somewhat of a public space, not like a town square, but a place where other artists have studios and people are walking through.
Yes, versus what would it be like in a darkened room? Makes me immediately wonder more of a room with a hum or a soft lighting that would even be this more spiritual sense of inner.
Right.
And I think because the room is bright beyond here, I am aware of it. I don't, so I'll focus on it for a second and then pull back in. It would be interesting to face the other way for the conversation of really just feeling this structure around me. So it makes me wonder about that meditativeness that might happen.
Yeah.
If there was, if I was facing not the wall to be walled in, but to be more of in that interior. Because
Enclosure,
I can see out, I'm still very much aware that I'm in a space.
Yeah.
Versus traveling deep inside. For now, for this minute.
Yes.
In this, the next question, if I do that and close my eyes, I'll probably go there.
Fascinating. Thank you so much for such a rich answer. You are a fellow artist. I believe I became aware of you through you knowing one of our other artists in residence at 18th Street, Luciana Abe, who's also did a beautiful interview that was a lot of fun. It's fun for me to just interact with people in a different way, where we have nothing else to do in these moments than interact together. You are based in LA, and perhaps you can tell us, whoever might be seeing this over time, it's going to live on the 18th Street website. And there's a lot to see on the 18th Street website, so who knows who's going to see it. You have to always assume that somebody will, but not count the people, as it were. Can you tell us a little bit about your work and how it's evolved? Because you've gone through a big shift, I say, in the last maybe year to 2 years, from your large-sized drawings, which is what you've been known for, and into more of AI. But there are things in common in terms of the subject, from what I can observe. So perhaps you can share a bit about that.
Sure. It's interesting. So the interest in AI and animation and technology, and let's use the term texpressionism because it's just using technology to aid in an art form, which is not solely about AI, but film and editing and all kinds of effects that come through that photography world and tech tools that have existed. AI has been, yes, a little bit more in more recent times to animate and add environment to some of the pieces. The evolution was simultaneous. I started in 2020 doing that with my mom at home hospice.
I didn't know that.
And so that's when that started. As I was sitting, laying there, the phone became another tool to make art with, animating paintings. The large-scale drawings happened around 2021, and a residency where the tech was failing. It just wasn't enough Wi-Fi power in the rural area, and I had paper and decided, and black and white grayscale media, and decided to do a deep personal dive.
Right.
And now the two are entwined.
Yes.
And very much about the human condition and capturing this breadth of experience, breadth of emotion, this from one thought to the next thought, almost without definition, just to have that breadth of emotion, to capture that. And that's what the videos are doing. Sometimes I have started more recently to narrate, but and also we need to tell a little bit more of a story. So the work still overlaps, and it goes through different periods of time. When I broke my foot, it was more of a technology time.
Right.
When I closed my studio downtown, it also became more of a technology time for lack of carving out a space back in my garage.
Right, those big drawings are big.
They're big.
They're almost human. I mean, they're kind
larger
of
than
real
human.
life.
They're between 6 and 8 feet tall, and can also be that wide. It depends. And so there's, carving out a space to work, but I also have drawing in many other sizes, so I can work quite miniature.
Yes, I've seen those.
And I've worked on postcards. So the postcard size, to make it personal, and created a project called Real Art for Real People,
Yes.
where I would be able to dispense those works
Mm-hmm.
to the public in a way that the larger pieces are made, and that's
Right.
stories of human condition, human inner voices, inner experience versus outer. And so, so that's my practice. Still doing both. I've had a lot of great opportunities for both still.
And
So-
it's a focus on the human form as a vehicle of expression. It's what it seemed like to me. Is that true?
Yes, yes. And that's why I wanted to definitely say it. And I think also, I don't think I know, that when I'm using the technology, it's an uncanny environment I'm building. And it's about mirroring human expression in this sometimes AI created figure that starts from a painting or a drawing. That is through many cues and many turns of technology, infusing it, many different apps. Nothing is a one and done in order to get a gender bender, an anthropomorphic image, or just to get a human animated expression.
Right. It's
that
very
captures the
brave.
thought process.
It's brave work,
Thank you.
and also requires a certain amount of know-how. I mean, did you have a steep learning curve, or was it bit by bit over years?
It's bit by bit over years. I'm not afraid to push buttons. Technology's gotten easier,
Right.
which helps. I
Right.
don't code. I'm a
Right.
manipulator of apps.
Right.
And things like that. So, and vector masks,
Mm.
things that are not hard to use. But for every image I get that works with technology, there'll be 30 that are to the side. 30
Right.
experiments, and then there was the sweet one, the one that does it. So, and it's creating short movies with them. So there's film apps. So when you see something that's of 20 seconds, that's not AI. That is
Right.
a bunch of clips and animated clips, and they're putting them together and changing environments. So I really enjoy it. It's also frustrating. I was thinking about it recently. Where did I pick that up? And I think it's over a college job working in an art department where there was early Macs and PCs and the first
Right.
version of Adobe. And
Ahead of the curve.
I wasn't the boss there. I was just filling screens, and so
Yeah.
getting used to playing with that I'm not going to break it.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Which is,
and
I think,
this-
when people aren't used to that, they, oh dear, I'm gonna,
right, and
something's
I
gonna
don't know
happen. I'm never
that.
gonna get back to where, you learn with computers that there's many ways to the one.
Well, and I
It's
think
kind of
like
metaphorical.
what I've learned from photography friends is, it's a film shoot, so you'll have a lot of pictures.
Right.
And especially digitally, you can duplicate it, so you can always save one and manipulate one.
Right.
And that is a fail-safe.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing.
And I do that. I always have the one, and then I have
Right.
the three, and then I pick one from the three,
Right,
let's
the
say.
model.
I mean, the numbers are much higher than that,
Right.
for example. And so there's I'm allowed to be fearless. But
Yeah.
it's the same with the drawing. I think,
Mhm.
just like you in this structure, some of the structures you make, the fearlessness comes from just doing it
Mm-hmm.
and seeing how it's going to come out.
Right.
And seeing what it tells you, what it informs you, and then making choices to continue. So it's interacting with the mediums, and the mediums help create the process.
Right. It's a relationship, absolutely,
It is a
between
relationship.
the materiality.
I think AI gets a bad rap because of the way it's so fun and one and done. And there's a lot of fun and bad things out there, and ugly things and stupid things out
Right.
there. But it's just like people used to be afraid of a camera.
Right. Any
And-
tool.
Any tool, or the phone. So now we have
Right.
a phone, and for the good and the bad,
Right.
this distraction that's in our hands.
It's a responsibility to use it.
But it's also a tool we can use that
Yeah.
makes it a lot easier. Look, I don't have to carry that giant date book anymore.
Right.
Dating myself.
Yes,
It's all in one
absolutely.
place, and I don't overbook myself anymore.
Well, speaking of the word book, maybe we can wind up with you sharing a bit about your new project with the book, using or inspired by a book. And this, you were invited into this by another artist who, as I understand it, delivered everybody a 6x9-inch piece of wood. Perhaps you can tell us what you're doing with this and when, anything you might know about the show. It sounds like,
I don't know too much
Right.
about the show. I know that this artist, curator, has been wanting to do this project, a huge project with artists, somehow picking a book, either their favorite book or a book they're influenced by, doing cover. It's a show of book covers. I don't know too much more about it.
you're having to go in without knowing sort of when it's going to be, where it's going to be shown.
Yeah.
Talk about the unknown.
It's the unknown. It's a wonderful, different kind of project that I was chomping on for a while. I've had my piece of wood for a while. I didn't
Right.
know what to make, and I decided, because of the small drawings I still do daily,
Right.
those mixed media drawings, which is
Right.
still very much how I identified the two heads of the moving and still imagery, which are not,
Interesting.
like you said earlier, they are of the same ilk.
Mm-hmm.
They're just using different mediums.
Right.
So I've decided that often, since my work's about this inner journey, that I would pick, I'll say my book, I would pick the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
I think that's very, very relevant.
And I think it's relevant for so many reasons.
So many
Our
reasons.
time that we live in,
Yes.
the battle of ourselves,
Yes.
self-acceptance.
Presentation.
Whatever they say the impetus was for the story at the time. There's all kinds of threads people have talked about since the book came out in 18-something, 60s.
Yeah.
I think it relates to today, and I think it relates to, on a very simple level, the psychological journey that so many of us are on of self-acceptance
Right.
and presence and staying
Integration.
present
Yeah.
and integration, and not trying to separate ourselves from ourselves in this fantasy of something else. This is a very
Right.
general, because of course the book is a horror genre,
Right.
and talks about different, and can be interpreted in many ways. But we live in a very interesting time, a very divided time.
Right.
And for this reason, as well as many of the other, all the different multitude of reasons,
Yes.
is why I chose this book, because I felt that it also, I was looking at my drawings, and I was trying to pick a different book, and then it came to my mind with all these faces and these two-headed figures I was drawing, or two-faced. drawings.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
One or two sides of the face. And
Yes.
It just kind of popped in my head one day. Oh, Dr.
Right.
Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
And I think that's my book.
Wonderful.
We'll see how it comes out.
I'm sure it'll be just fascinating, and maybe even putting a more positive spin on it not being, the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde not being so diametrically opposed or in the binary, but that it's more of a spectrum, that people have.
And then we should, yes, and yes,
People,
exactly. This is the inner world we live with. This is why I think people are so drawn to yoga and Buddhism and meditation and other things we're looking for in our time. You hear a lot of people looking for spiritual connection.
Right.
Even if it's just through, we don't really say self-help anymore.
Right.
But there's all kind of metaphysical
Right.
journeys. I'm dated for the New Age movement.
Right.
To use those terms. But that's philosophies that we
Right.
look to find that balance. And I think this is a good subject for me.
Yeah, it's exciting. Well, Randi, thank you so much for being with us today. When you see this, because I will send it to you when I get it on YouTube, you'll see that your presentation is very refined. My video technique is raw.
As it should be. If we're having it in the moment.
Right, I'm moving around.
Thank you for inviting me to be in this space. It feels very comforting before you hang up on me or click it off. I just want to say, not only sharing these few questions, which help open up, they were very good questions, but I like being here.
Oh.
And I think there's a beautiful hum in this space, and it's a very neutral space, and I'm enjoying. I can catch my breath in here for a minute.
I'm so glad to hear that. Maybe you'll visit again before it goes down at the end of the year or a little bit after. And again, I'm thrilled to have you here, Randi Matushevitz, and may you know safe space.